Hey everybody, thanks for tuning in. I've been needing to do this video for a while. I've been making some videos, posting them on the channel, but I've really never told you what the channel is all about. The title of the channel is The Outdoor Generalist, and that seems kind of broad, and I know it is because my interests and my hobbies are kind of broad, and they're always changing. Forgive me, I'm going to be looking down at my notes a little bit because there's a lot we're going to cover in this video. I could really never nail down a single topic to make a YouTube channel on, but ever since YouTube existed, and ever since the advent of digital cameras when I was a very young teenager, I've been interested in making videos and sharing them with the public, especially the public that's interested in outdoor sort of things. I decided to go ahead and make a channel that was left open to whatever I came across. For about a year, I was absolutely obsessed with anything having to do with unmanned aerial vehicles or drones, and I still do some drone work. Maybe I'll throw a clip in here while I'm talking for a second about that, but I do have a side business to make a little extra money on the side, and it is in real estate photography. And for that, for all of my outdoor shots of houses and stuff, I use drones, and I still enjoy that to this day, but it's not as much of a hobby anymore. So my hobbies go back and forth to different things. But let's take a second to talk about what we could possibly be covering, just so that you'll kind of have an idea. Hopefully hunting. That is a big part. I've always wanted to get some hunts on film, and I've gotten a few in the past, way before I had any decent quality camera equipment. I'd like to get some hunts on video in the future, probably in the next year or so. I was hoping during deer season this year to be able to get some hunts on film and get put together for you all to see, but it just didn't happen. I ended up hunting alone most of the time, and because I couldn't risk not getting the deer, because I do need the meat from my freezer, that is the reason that I hunt, is for the meat. I couldn't risk, trying to have a tripod set up and spooking the deer and trying to self-film while hunting, because I don't have the luxury of being able to let the deer pass. Anyway, I did get 4 deer this year, which was great. 3 of those are in the freezer. 1 ended up going to the people that got me the permission to hunt there. Anyway, I'm getting off topic. I hope to start doing some fishing this next year, as another way to put food on the table, but also as another form of recreation. And with that, I may be looking into maybe canoe fishing or kayak fishing or something like that. That would be kind of a fun way to get into it, I think. Never really fished much before, but I've got a couple connections with some people that know a lot more about it than I do, that are willing to help me with that. So hopefully this year we'll get into some of that. Reloading. Most of the channel to this point has been about reloading, mostly because that's the hobby that I have spent the most time in over the last 6 months or so, and it will continue to show up on the channel here quite a bit for the foreseeable future. It might even become a channel mainstay, because I see myself doing that for quite a long time. Another thing that we're going to get to here, hopefully within the next month or two, maybe it'll be a little longer than that, but as soon as I have the time, we're going to be doing some beer brewing. And this is one of my hobbies that I had started maybe 4 years ago now. Yeah, 4 years ago I started brewing beer, and I brewed on and off, but I've never actually done any of that on video. So we'll get into some beer brewing soon, other fermented beverages, wine, mead possibly. I've done a batch of mead. There's not much to that. We'll be doing some wild game cooking, hopefully. Kind of goes along with the hunting. They might even be included in the same videos later on. Competition shooting. I'm glad I have this list, otherwise there would be so many things that I forget to talk about. Competition shooting. I've been getting into USPSA and Steel Challenge lately, which are both pistol competitions, shooting with my 9mm, and it's a ton of fun. I wish everybody that had even a little bit of pistol shooting experience could get into one of these USPSA type shoots. It is a blast, literally. You go through, well, the last one I did, we probably went through upwards of between 150 and 200 rounds of ammo. There are several other competitions that I want to do in the near future, including rimfire bench rest, AR bench rest, possibly some tactical rifles type stuff, and maybe even some trap shooting. Now I'll get into equipment and stuff that I want to be acquiring over the next year or so in a little bit. You've probably caught on to this by now, but lots of things I do are going to involve guns and shooting, because that is my number one hobby and has been since I was 4 years old. Now we're going to be talking about some of the equipment related progresses that I hope to be making in the channel. The number one thing that I've been missing for shooting both of my guns here that I reload for, mainly the Savage 308 and my clobbered together home-built AR, is a decent scope. The scope that I have on here, and any video that you've seen me shoot either of these guns in, I've mentioned how terrible the scopes are. This scope came free with a 1022 that I bought probably 10 years ago. It's not very good at all. It's not letting me shoot very consistently. It only goes up to 9 power when I'm really trying to shoot the best possible groups that I can. 9 power and out of focus don't quite work. The scope on the Savage is 12 power, but it's the focus and the eye relief on it are absolutely terrible. And great news for me, I finally scraped together the cash and I have ordered a Vortex Viper HST 6-24 by 50, I believe it is. That's going to let me do pretty much anything that I want to with either of these guns, and give me a decent platform for shooting longer ranges out to maybe 600 yards in the near future. The next big project that I will be tackling soon, and I'm going back and forth on which direction to take this. I was gifted a lower receiver for an AR, the AR-15 size lower receiver, and the furniture and the lower parts kit and all of that this past Christmas. So I'm going to be building a new AR off of that platform. The one possibility is to turn this into a match AR, put a match 223 barrel in, a heavier barrel, probably at least 18 inches, and take the lower receiver that I was given and make that my my home defense personal readiness sort of gun. But that's one option. The other option, and this is the one I'm leaning more heavily towards, is either buying a complete upper receiver or building one in 6.5 Grendel. The main reason that I'm leaning towards the 6.5 Grendel is not only do I want to shoot little bitty groups in paper and work up good loads for them, I also would love to be able to hunt deer with an AR. And I do not want to shoot deer with a 223. Just don't want to take that chance. again, that's a story for another day. There are some pros and cons to both options. With a match barrel, I would be able to wring all of the potential out of, say, 65 to 77 grain 223 projectiles, and probably get some really good accuracy out of those. So both that and the Grendel are capable of very good accuracy, so that's kind of a wash between them. There's both a benefit and a downside to already having 223 and going with that, because I already have it. On one hand, it would be kind of more convenient to have one fewer caliber and to just load different loads in 223. On the other hand, I think it would be kind of an exciting new challenge to load for another caliber and to load 6.5 Grendel and explore where that can take us, and possibly even extend that into the longer ranges as well. Also, there's kind of a weird, not everybody's heard about it, cool factor of the 6.5 Grendel that, you know, maybe that really shouldn't play into my decision, but it probably does, at least a little bit. The next thing that I want to do here in 2019 is locate a good hunting rifle for my wife. And I thought, what better way to get into 6.5 Creedmoor than to buy her a deer rifle that would have maybe a little less recoil than the 308, and could also get one with a youth model or a compact size stock on it that she'll have an easier time reaching the trigger. She needs something like a 12.5-inch length of pole. So there are a couple different makes of bolt action rifle that I've been looking at that can do that. The most promising one, well, on the cheaper end of the scale, there's the Ruger American, or the Ruger American Predator, which is not made in the youth model yet, but I'm hoping it will be, or the compact model rather. And then there's the Tikka T3X compact, and that's kind of the direction I'm leaning more, because I would like something that's good and high quality, and that both I'll be able to work up a good load for and be really confident in its accuracy, and therefore pass that confidence in that load onto her while she's in the deer woods. Two more quick things and then we'll be done. The next thing that I have in the plans is to rework my 308, and I don't have nearly enough rounds through it to where it needs a new barrel by any means. I probably have a total of 300 to 400 rounds through this, and most of those have been in the last 2 or 3 months since I started reloading 308. But I would like to put a good laminate stock on it, something that I can get a decent cheek weld with, especially now that I'm going to have that good Vortex Viper HST on top of it. I would hate to waste the potential here. Unfortunately, replacing the stock is a little more complicated than just replacing the stock, because this particular model has a plastic bottom area molded into the stock, and I would need to order the bottom metal piece from Savage, probably the metal trigger guard, possibly a few other parts, not 100% sure about that yet, but just the bottom metal piece is $150, and then the stock is probably going to end up being $200, so that's kind of taking a back burner right now. The other hang up on putting a stock in is Boyd's does not actually make a stock for the Model 11 with the heavy barrel. So I'm going to need to inlet the Boyd stock when I get it. And once I do that, that'll be the topic for a video, because that'll be just a little bit of a project working out the stock so that it's free floating all the way down. The last thing, and I'd mentioned when I was talking about the competitions I'd like to try, I'd mentioned trap shooting, and I'm not terrible at trap shooting. I'm not great either. I would really like to improve on that, but the trouble is I don't have a shotgun. With all the guns that I purchased, that just hasn't come to the top of my priority list. So in 2019, I will at some point be purchasing a shotgun, whether it's an over-under, little more fancy type shotgun, or just an old used pump shotgun that I pick up at a gun show. I will be getting a shotgun this year and doing quite a bit of practice with that. I want to say thank you to my 6 subscribers that I have so far. I would love for this channel to really take off in 2019. I'd love to grow the channel and get better at making content for you all to see, because I know that's my main source of TV. When I get home from work, I don't sit down on the couch and pop on the news. I look at YouTube and watch, hunting or reloading or these outdoor things that that I like to do. I also like to watch on YouTube, and I think that's kind of something that's spreading around a little bit more. It's becoming a more popular platform. I may be looking at other platforms also in 2019, such as maybe full30.com, for another place to upload my content to that's a little more friendly to gun and gun-related content. Again, I want to thank you guys for watching. If you're seeing this video and none of the others that I've done so far, go take a look at them. We do have some fun stuff coming up in the near future. I'm going to shoot a Yeti with a 50 cal. I will elaborate on that more later. But we've got some fun stuff coming up, as well as quite a bit more reloading, some possible gun builds, and yeah, we'll see where the channel goes from there. Who knows, maybe 6 months from now I'll have a completely new outdoor hobby interest, and I hope to take you guys along with and go on that journey with me. So again, thanks for watching. Have a great 2019.